Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of WiseTalk, the series of webinars and conversations where we talk about marketing, product, branding, all the things. Today, we are joined by Andy Crestodina. Just a quick thing in terms of housekeeping, please do write your questions. We're going to be monitoring them throughout our conversation. You won't have access to the chat box. You'll have access to the questions area. And for sure, drop those emojis whenever something strikes a chord with you. We love to have that engagement throughout the conversation. And of course, if you have to miss anything in the middle of this conversation, we'll be recording. We are recording this now, and we'll send it over to you afterward. So, with that, I would like to formally introduce Andy Crestodina. He's the co-founder and CMO of Orbit Media, an award-winning 50-person digital agency in Chicago. Over the past 24 years, Andy has provided digital marketing advice to over 1,000 businesses. Andy has written hundreds of articles on content strategy, SEO, GA4, AI, and visitor psychology. These articles reach more than 3 million marketers every year. He's also the author of Content Chemistry, the illustrated handbook for content marketing. Thank you so much for joining us, Andy.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Natalie. I'm glad to be here. This is going to be good. I've been looking forward to this.
I,
thank
I,
you.
I will I will share that once you told me I wasn't invited officially. I wasn't in the invitation on the invitation, and once Natalie told me we
Oh,
you're coming, I said like, okay, I must be here and be able to
Well, when you're
ask
the
some
VP of
question.
marketing, you're always invited to
I
whatever
I
you
hope
want.
so. I hope so.
A quick word just about our hosts for today, which is WiseStamp. WiseStamp.com is the world's leading email signature management platform used by over 1 million clients worldwide. We offer you the easiest way to take control of your company and personal email signatures from branding to scheduling campaigns. And we integrate with every platform. So, with that, Andy, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm glad to be here. And of course, I know and love your brand. I mean, you are the standard for that. And every time I get an email from someone that has just gone above and beyond with a super engaging, every email they send, I mean, I can tell it's one of your clients. Um, but no, I love this and I'm glad to be here. And I love the topic because I've been a content marketer now since 2007. And uh, so plenty of years in that. And then when AI came along, realized that this would be not just a great way to get marketing performance, but also to help teach marketing. So it's really a fun time to join a webinar like this because I'm someone that's used lots of methods to do lots of things in content marketing, content strategy, email, search, social. But now it's sort of easier than ever for me to help to try to transfer some of these skills to you, our attendee, because AI prompts make things are like skills levelers. They make it faster to learn. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to rip through a ton of AI methods to do things that I've sort of always done for years, and a few that I never could have done without AI. So Natalie, if you're ready, I'm going to share a screen and jump in.
We're totally ready.
Okay. Share that screen two, presentation mode. How do I look?
We don't see your presentation.
Now we see.
Now we see it.
Okay, great. Might be a second lag. Okay, now I don't really have a preference for tools. I try to stay agnostic because I want moments like this to be useful for everybody. And because ChatGPT has the greatest awareness and penetration in the market for AI tools, I'm just going to do these things with ChatGPT. I always get these questions. Why not use Claude or Copilot or Gemini or whatever? Use whatever you want. Doesn't matter. These things should work everywhere. And also because this is a presentation, I have to choose a topic or a business or an example category. I'm going to choose this one. It's easy for me to show this one because it's kind of a generic B2B kind of service, but everything that I'm discussing should work for any industry, any business, any category, any vertical. But let's choose space. I'm choosing space. We are going to be, for the next few minutes, a spaceport, and we provide commercial satellite launch services to satellite operators. Why not? Okay. My first point is that AI is used badly everywhere by lazy marketers. I want to suggest we don't do this. Write 10 headlines for articles about launching satellites. They're typical. These are not on target. ChatGPT doesn't know my brand. It doesn't know my audience. So people do things like this. Write an article about satellite launch best practices. That's a lazy prompt. And the thing it writes for you, although may feel like magic for a minute, I'm going to say this is the last thing you should publish. Because if you can write an article by giving an AI 8 simple words, your audience can also get that same article by writing those same 8 words. This is undifferentiated content. It's boring. It's obvious. AI might as well stand for average information because that's what it is. AI ingested the internet and it summarized the internet. And if you want, best practices for X, it will give them to you. But that's exactly what your audience can also do. So part of what I'm going to do today is to show you ways to differentiate your content from AI, because this is not what we should be doing. That it tastes like water. It's inherently boring. It's inherently undifferentiated because it is simply AI summarizing the internet. So I don't really care about speed and efficiency. I care a lot about quality and performance. And here's why. In my experience as a content marketer, this will forever be my model, my mental mindset. It's the really good things that get the great results. Number 2 gets much lower results than number 1. Number 3 gets lower results yet. There's this curve. It's a mathematical thing. It's the Zipfian distribution. Came out of linguistics, but the model is that number 2 gets half the results of number 1. Number 3 gets a third the results of number 1. Number 4 gets a fourth the results of number 1. And I see that everywhere in digital. It's always true. Every analytics report, every research study. This is almost exactly the distribution of click-through rates by search position. The number 1 site gets twice as many clicks as number 2, and so on down the line. So my goal in digital is to produce as many of those as possible at the top. I don't care about being faster. I will spend more time than my competitors. I will put 10x the effort. My average article takes me 12 hours to write, but the results of them are greater than, that's 3 times the average. My results are greater than 3 times the average. In my experience, those 10x efforts are exactly how you get the 100x results. So you're not going to see me use AI to do things faster or easier. You're going to see me use AI to create things that are higher performing because they are more comprehensive. I'm going to use it for empathy, research, gap analysis, to create content that's deeper and surprisingly useful, something memorable. Think of top of mind. How many brands can be top of mind for anything, right? You don't want to be number 3. You want to be number 1. Okay, first, AI for research. So I'm going to start with the persona because this is the game. I really believe that AI is not very good until you teach it who you're talking to, and then it's actually quite good. So here's my persona prompt. Steal it, you're getting the slides. Steal everything I'm giving you today. Give the same presentation from these slides if you'd like. That would be a benefit to the internet and to other marketers. It doesn't bother me a bit. The prompt looks like this. Build me a persona of a job title, commercial satellite operator, at an industry and company size, billion-dollar global telecom, responsible for these challenges, planning launch missions. And what do they need to do? What does this person try to do in their life? What's their professional challenge? It's to deploy commercial satellite and to launch and to find a new launch service provider. I want 4 things from AI. I want to know their hopes and dreams. I want to know their fears and concerns. I want to know their emotional triggers. And I want to know their decision criteria for selecting a company like mine. That's it. Now, what it gives me back is actually pretty good. If it names it, I'll probably give it the name Alex. Doesn't matter. By the way, if you have real ICPs, ideal client profiles, you can just upload those. You might want to anonymize them first if you're concerned about AI's memory. But this is what you do when you were kind of like me and you didn't have really defined ideal client profiles. I actually do now. But whatever you're looking at here, whatever it made for you is probably wrong. And that's fine too. Because AI here, I say, might as well stand for assuming correct because it's wrong. It won't be correct. You have to tell it to fix it, right? Because you know your audience. You're the company that's talked to 100 of your clients and you're in the front lines. You talk to the sales team, or you support sales, or you talk to the customer service team, or you understand, you're close to your audience. So whatever it missed, and in this case, it missed insurance and risk management, which matters to satellite operators, you'd tell it to add that. So just tell the AI, fix this, de-emphasize that, make this more important, add this, remove that. And then it gives you one Now you have a synthetic member of your audience, which beyond marketing is crazy effective because you can talk to it about anything you want. What information would help you do your job? What social media posts might you click on? What information might you search for? What search results or what research studies could I produce that would help you do your job? What do you hate about looking for commercial satellite operators or launch companies? That is very useful, by the way, that last one. All of us need to know what our audience doesn't like about shopping in our category or researching providers, because you need to overcome that. That's the context of your visitor. That's the psychology and emotion of the person that you're trying to generate a lead from, or sell, close a deal with. Past this, there are some deeper insights. A friend of mine, Lisa Adams, who's an AI pro, she and I share prompts once a month. We have a regular call. I recommend that. Do a regular call with someone in your who is working on the same challenges as you and like trade notes. These are from Lisa. What widely accepted best practices do you reject secretly? What common advice do you think is harmful? What seemingly unrelated topic do you think has crucial lessons for our industry? What commonly held fears or concerns do you think is overblown or misguided? Right? I could tell you these for myself. It's super interesting, right? All these are thought-provoking. What unpopular opinion do you hold about your topic? You can just imagine, right? This is content strategy. This is handling sales objections. There's a million things here, right? Thanks, Lisa. These are all ways to do better by understanding your audience more. Now, if you're using ChatGPT, go ahead and save that. Keep that. Name it. Come back to it. And if you're on a team and you want to make a custom GPT that has this, you can click on this Explore GPTs and make a custom GPT. But I keep these around and I go back and I talk to it, and most of the things I'm going to do today are now going to be in that conversation, right? And by the way, you can also just make that a PDF, upload it to your shared prompt library. If you don't have a shared prompt library, it's a foundational tool for marketing teams today. Here's what mine looks like. It's just a Google Drive folder. It's got Google Docs in it. Anything that I need, I can just jump in. I'm constantly iterating these and improving them and adding to them. I pull stuff out of here and use it almost every day. I come in here to improve things or add things almost every week. It's quite simple. I don't think you really need software for this. I remember thinking like someone should build an AI, prompt library software, but really, how could it be better than this? This is fine. So that's a way to collaborate on teams. Okay, now we're ready. Now I'm going to do some topic research. My little thesis here is that you should just first have a conversation with ChatGPT, because it's called chat because you're supposed to talk to it. It's more than one prompt. This isn't Google after all. So you just ask things like this. What are some of your prioritized information needs? List them in terms of topics and themes. Okay. So it comes back and it's got some that I like a lot here, some that I like much less. An example might be emergency preparedness or sustainability. You can just imagine, now I'm going to continue the conversation. You're a content strategist. You're skilled in selecting topics. What information, what advice would help this commercial satellite operator do their job well? So when it comes back, this one here looks great to me. Assessing risks with launches, strategies for backup in case of failed launches. If you wrote that piece, you could use that during sales. That's some bottom of funnel content. That's powerful to use with a prospect during their consideration phase, right? Where they're you want to show evidence that you are good at this and that you've got it covered. And these are perfect topics for that. But we can take this to the next level and create content based on it. So if I copy and paste the ones of these that I like, you see me filtering through, make a persona, filter through things, knowing my content strategy, what my past articles look like, what my upcoming topics look like, what my editorial calendar looks like. So I'm going to take things out of this, and then now we're ready to actually brainstorm. Suggest 10 articles on this topic. Managing risks. Make them compelling and memorable. Those are some of my favorite words. You probably have your own favorite words for AI. Certainly, here they are. These look very good. So much better than those generic things we started with the lazy prompt, right? Bridging communication gaps, ensuring seamless team coordination during launches. That is a fantastic topic if I'm targeting satellite people, right? Like if I write that, they're going to know that we understand the details, right? Like this is, we think about risk, right? This came from the persona, which led to conversations. Now, I might not like any of these, and that's fine. Here I joke AI might as well stand for another input, because you should feel free to disregard 80% of what it gives you, because the 20% might be really good. That's your job as a content strategist. I actually don't really trust AI. I trust you as a human in your category. You know your audience, right? It's just a tool. It's hilarious to me. Marketers go from like, it's magic, it can do everything, into like, it's terrible, no one should use it. And people are just bipolar on this stuff. Like, please think of it as a tool. Use your brain and experience. Think through, right? I dismissed most of what it gave me, but I found some that were good. Whether or not these responses are useful is up to you, right? We are not just trusting it to do everything for us. We don't actually trust it much at all. We're just using it as a tool. But that method is better than most, I think, and that's what I'm here to. One of my first points is that first give it the persona, and then talk to it about its information needs, and then go to topics. See, I'm recommending longer processes that are harder work, but you're going to get way, way better results than with the simple, stupid, lazy prompt. I see these blog posts where people on LinkedIn like, here's 600 prompts to do your job, and like they're like, write me an article on this, or create a search optimized blog post on that. Like, these are not going to work, and they're the opposite of what we should be doing in marketing. If you can do it, if AI can do it for you in 2 seconds, AI can do it for your reader in 2 seconds. That's the thing that people are not going to use search for anymore. That's people are just going to go straight to AI and get their answers there. We need to produce highly differentiated content that actually supports sales, but also for content marketing. I'm going to do some content marketing now with AI. The step 0, I think, in content marketing is to publish your mission statement. It's the foundation of your content strategy. Your content mission statement is really just 3 things: who you're talking to, what your topics are, and why they should care. This is my template, my little guide for this. You can steal this. If you haven't done this yet, it makes a big difference, and I'll explain why. And research shows people that do this are more likely to succeed. You're like 3 times more likely to succeed if you document this mission statement. But 3 out of 4 marketers have never documented their content mission statement. It's a problem because the content mission statement is perfect to repurpose as a call to action to subscribe. Here's a prompt for it. You have to do it in the same conversation with the persona, but here's how it looks. You're an expert content strategist. You're skilled in creating content that attracts visitors, builds trust, right? That's the top. A content marketing mission statement includes 3 elements: the audience, the topics, and the benefit to the reader. It should be concise. It should be adaptable as the call to action to subscribe. Now make some drafts for me based on my persona and their information needs. And then give me some examples of newsletter sign-up CTAs that you could make from this mission statement. If that prompt looks long to you, I don't think it should. That's about typical, right? Because I have to set the context and give it roles and skills. Then I have to tell it the best practices of what I want from it. It doesn't know what I know about effective content missions. It only knows the average on the internet. So I'm using my experience in 17 years as content strategy to define what success looks like. And then I ask it to make one, and I tell it how I want to repurpose it. What it comes back with is actually pretty good. Look at the email sign-up CTA. Get the latest updates on risk management, launch insights, launch services, and industry developments. That's specific. The visitor knows that it's for them. And it's way better than a lot of the email sign-up CTAs you see on the web. Look at that. Stay up to date. Pathetic. Embarrassing. If that's on your website, fix it before before you go to lunch. This is a problem. I don't know why people, marketing 101, tell people what they'll get. They're more likely to do it. I see these everywhere. People do it all the time. What the best email sign-up CTA is, it tells the visitor what they'll get if they subscribe. Obviously, makes sense. Okay, now I mentioned there are 2 formats for content that some formats for content get much better results than others. I'm going to use Steve Rayson here, the co-founder of BuzzSumo. He did research on this. He analyzed 1 million articles, and he found what gets a disproportionately high number of shares and likes, or shares and links from other websites. And he concludes, if you want to create content that achieves a high level of both shares and links, you should create content that does one of 2 things: opinion-forming authoritative content or well-researched and evidence content. In other words, strong opinion and original research. These are the two things that work best in digital. They're also rare. Most marketers never do them, but they work really, really well. I'll give you an example. Just taking a stand, and this is automatically different from what AI can normally do because you're gonna make a statement, a stronger statement. You're gonna think about that. Strong opinion, AI can't do that. Original research, AI can't do that. These are the safe zones for you in the future. Quick example. I wrote an article that said there's a bunch of stuff you should probably remove from your website. It's got a video. It says, you should not put PDFs on websites. It's like the rust of the internet. Come on, make an HTML page. That's best practices. Press releases don't belong on websites. Come on, that's not digital content best practices. That little about section at the bottom and for immediate release at the top, what? Why don't you just turn it into an article? Way better. Dates on blogs, not a good idea. Makes your content look older faster. Remove the date from the template. Use it in the header or the body text if you want to put a date in there. Like if it's research, put the date of the research, but don't put that in the template. If you've got an evergreen content strategy, it just makes your content look older faster. Okay, a bunch of these things where I'm like saying, do this, don't do that. I publish a video. I get hundreds of angry comments on my video. People totally disagree with me. Lots of them are unhappy. But that's my point, is that I made a strong statement. I have a strong opinion. This is what Seth Godin says is the definition of thought leadership. He says it always creates tension. It's about making assertions. You have to be willing to be wrong. You can be certain some people will disagree. In other words, if you can't disagree with it, it's not thought leadership. Thought leadership is not a synonym for content marketing. It's about making strong assertions for things that you believe. Plant a little flag, right? Hard to do. Brands go, oh no, too scary to say we agree with this or don't agree with that, or that this is good and that's bad. No, I don't want to alienate anybody. Trust me, it's going to, this is actually how to make connections, how to be memorable. These comments on YouTube are rough. I get it. That person called me sleazy and untrustworthy. This guy's got hate in all capital letters. Calm down. All caps, exclamation points. My beautiful health wouldn't even watch the video. Can you imagine?
Oh my
You've seen
gosh.
this. Yeah. This is no, no, no. There's some people liked it. This guy thinks I look like Joseph.
We told people that we're recommending this thing to you, not now you're sharing all the bad things people are saying. People might our audience might feel that
I don't care. Don't mind a bit. Here's why. What does the platform want? What does YouTube want? Engagement. It wants people who stay, who watch, people who jump in, move from their mouse to the keyboard. That's what happened here. So YouTube showed that thing. I have a more recent slide. That video has been seen 300,000 times. How do you make that happen? How do you trigger a social algorithm to topics that trigger emotion and response, trigger comments, which trigger the algorithm to give you exponential greater visibility? This is not a surprise. My friend Brooks Ellis wrote a book about this research on this called the social penetration theory. Cliches and facts, anybody can publish. Google has those. AI can give those to you. Opinions and feelings. These are the things that make someone remember you, that feel a connection to you, right? That gets talked about. And by the way, you don't have to take a stand on geopolitics and social justice. We all have strong opinions about little things, right? And so ChatGPT cannot create this kind of content, period. It doesn't care about anything. It has no point of view, right? But it can help you find provocative topics. I'll give you an example. I will go to my grave believing this. Branding companies do not do good websites, and web companies don't do good branding. I will stand by that. I will die on that hill. And it's true. I know it to be true. We do web development. You need keyword research and you need analytics and you need UX design. Branding companies do none of those things. Okay. Here's examples of how you can get AI to help you find those. Listen to this. What are some relatively mundane, almost trivial space industry topics that professionals have strong opinions about? Look at metric versus imperial. Your audience, my audience is going to love that debate, right? Or how they name celestial bodies in spacecraft. Everybody's got an opinion about that. Like, how should we name stars? What's the right way? Rocket design philosophies, reusable versus expendable, pros and cons, right? This is exactly the safe zone in the future for publishing, because these are the things that come from a personal perspective. In other words, they don't have to be controversial. We're only looking for something that is provocative. You know, milk ruins coffee. It doesn't taste like coffee anymore. That's not coffee. I know a guy, he makes his coffee into a candy bar. So much sugar and cream. What is that? Okay, AI has never tasted coffee. AI doesn't care about milk and coffee. AI doesn't know a guy, right? So these are prompts
Yes.
that will help you find thought leadership topics. Yeah, even if they're pretty mundane. What questions are people in your industry afraid to answer? What false things do people in your industry think are true? What are the most common assertions that people are least likely to support with evidence? What are the most popular, what important topics to my audience that are the least likely to be covered on big blogs? You know, humans can't even do that. This is an AI. You can see now how powerful it is to use AI for the right things and to use your brain and your heart for the right things. You could never read every article in an industry and then find a gap and say that's missing. But AI does that perfectly. That prompt there on your screen right now, that's an AI only method. Humans can't even do that. So AI is a fantastic source of provocative topics. It should do that, but AI is unable to write from a personal strong opinion point of view and answer the comments about defending your assertions. It can't be done. AI can't do that. So you get the idea. This other one, this last one's fun because it's got a powerful word. What counter narratives on a topic are least likely to be discussed by thought leaders? Put that into a prompt and you'll get great ideas. What are the counter narratives? That's partly what PR is all about. I know a company that does that. They do content marketing for SaaS. And step one is called point of view development. What do you believe? What do you think is true? What do you think will happen? It's you got to find these things because in the future, the strictly how-to informational best practices content strategies are going to suffer, and the brands that take a stand and have a point of view, right, are going to grow. What widely accepted best practices? Oh, I think I did these. I already did those. Those are from Liza. I can remove those from this deck. Okay. I'm going to do, so Natalie, I've got I think the less interesting part, but I'm going to rip through it, the outlines and the writing piece. I think it's less interesting because I don't use AI for this, but I'm going to show you how if you care to. So you know what the provocative things are, and you know what the unsupported claims are. So now you can write a prompt that will help you create the article. Remember, bridging communication gaps is my topic. The prompt looks like this. You're an expert content strategist. You're skilled in crafting detailed, memorable articles that delight commercial satellite operators. Write an outline first, because we're going to iterate, right? This is AI is just an assistant. We're going to iterate. Write an outline first. Highlight sections that allow the opportunity to cover those assertions that lack evidence, and to discuss counter narratives if they're relevant. So what it does is it comes back. You can see this is the idea. It comes back with an outline. Again, AI is just another input. It will be wrong. You'll find things it missed. It doesn't know the specific examples from your brand that you can include. It doesn't know the other articles you've written that could be interlinked. Right? It doesn't know the personal experiences you've had, the stories that you can add to this. So you're going to take this, and here there's all kinds of opportunities, right? There's some good things here, including embedding case studies into your articles. That's actually quite clever. Jay Akunzo gives a great presentation. He says that AIs and humans both have LLMs. AI has large language models. Humans have little life moments. So it makes a strong point about differentiating your content from AI. I'll do a bit more of that in a minute. But first, the draft. If you want to make a draft, I don't use AI for this, but this is how a lot of the pros are using it to create content. In ChatGPT, you can make a custom GPT. It's not hard. Everyone should do this at least once. It's kind of like everyone should make a Facebook ad at least once. Just see how it works, understand how the world works. So you click Explore GPTs, and then you give it the training data, general instructions, you give it a name, upload a logo if you want or an image. It will make one for you if you don't. And then these instructions are going to appear as the context for every prompt you have when talking to this custom GPT. A custom GPT is just a more narrowly trained version of the model. So you give it a lot of instructions, and you can upload a lot of training, a lot of knowledge material, and then it will refer to that. So you are carving out, so you're using ChatGPT for its like language creation abilities, it's generative AI stuff, but you have kind of wrapped it around a lot of this material you've given it. So I took dozens of articles, tens of thousands of words, and uploaded them as PDFs, and they're all sitting here, video transcripts and articles I've written. So now in theory, it can refer to those, and when I have it write something, it can write in my style. That's the hypothesis.
Is there
So now,
a certain limit? Sorry, Andy, to cut you off. Is there like a limit to the amount of information, to the amount of documents and gigabytes that you can upload?
there is. I don't know what the details are, and you may run into them, but the limits are much higher for uploaded stuff.
Hmm.
If you try to
Yeah.
paste 10,000 words into a prompt, it won't work. But
Right.
if
No,
you
but
paste, Mhm.
sorry, but do you see difference between like over like the prompt is too extensive? If some like is there a thing of too much, or telling like too much instruction, too many instructions, or like
Yeah, I think that this is part of everyone's experience with AI. If you give it very, very detailed things, it will give you back stuff that is so prescriptive and aligned with your prompt that it feels less useful. So effective use of AI, I think, is a mixture of I need this exactly. Write a draft for me that includes bullet points because I don't want to see a draft without bullet points. Everything I write is bullet points. But also there's moments when you just throw in like a long shot prompt. It's like, according to my audience's secret emotions, list 3 things that might be missing from this. That's not prescriptive at all, right? That's super vague, and it'll come back with interesting ideas. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, if you, that's why working on the persona first and getting work and making sure that's accurate enough is important. Because if you tell it, my commercial satellite operators care about environmental impact, it's going to keep coming back and telling you that, it'll add environmental impact to everything. So you have to, um, keep fine tuning it. But no, that's a classic. It's everyone's experience. If you give it too much, it starts to get small. So try to pan out sometimes and just throw big prompts at it and broad things to see if you can open it up. But no matter what, you're going to be rewriting this anyway. And like I said, I never use AI to write my articles. Go look at anything I've written and ask if AI could make that. It's very unlikely. I mean, these are super concise, punchy statements, single sentence paragraphs, an image every 200 words. I mean, it's not there yet, anyway, in my experience. But I'm not saying that there's one right way to do it. This is just, and I'm showing this even though it's not my way, and I don't mind to share it with you. Uh, I think the big benefit of a custom GPT is teams, because you can collaborate now. When you make a custom GPT, you can then share it with other people. And so maybe your custom GPT had an uploaded version of your persona. Great. Now, when you share that with your team, that's always in there. So if there's a benefit to these, I think it's mostly just collaboration. It's not really that different than having one down here. My friend Chris Penn monitored the network traffic between his computer and the internet. And while using custom GPTs, he was basically just seeing that it was sort of paper clipping all that training data to each prompt. It's not much more sophisticated than that. Anyway, so here I am. I'm talking what I did for mine. I uploaded my persona as a document, and I told it to write the article. Here's my thing. Use the voice, tone, and style formatting patterns found in your knowledge sources. It includes bullet lists. It should be no longer than 1,500 words. That, by the way, it will never be. It's almost useless to tell it the word count because the language models can't count the same way the image models can't spell. The future of AI will be multimodal. The models will have more things built in. There'll be layers of AIs that combine with each other. But right now, these kind of feel like separate islands. When you tell it to write something, it's not going to pay any attention to the word count mostly. But here it is. Introduction. I would never use the subhead introduction. Here it is. The conclusion. I would never use the subhead conclusion. We can always do better than that, right, people? Conclusion. It's just so dull. It's a missed keyword opportunity, right? It's so yeah, we'd always go edit this. And you could always keep iterating, expand, add detail, use shorter words. What needs examples? Suggest examples. What needs visuals? Suggest visuals. What subject matter experts could I include? Even if it did a great job, guess what it didn't do? It didn't add your images or your videos. It didn't reach out to contributors for expert quotes. It didn't cite specific examples from your experience as a brand. It didn't support the data with the latest research that you know to be relevant to your audience. It doesn't know all your past articles to do internal linking. And it didn't start with a right hook and end with an uppercut, right? It doesn't have any strong points of view. The language might feel kind of watered down. So today, we're September 2024. These are the things you'll probably have to add anyway. That's partly me stating a point of view again. Here's my point about differentiation. Jay Baer says this perfectly. Burn this into your brain. The problem is not that AI is doing what marketers can do. The problem is that marketers keep doing what can be done by an AI. Does that make? I'll give you an example. I wrote this article about GA4 versus universal analytics. This article dropped right before the deadline, the cutoff date. So I knew that was triggering. I knew the timing was perfect. And you get into it and I make this statement, GA4 is better than universal analytics. 0 people agree with me. I think it's true. I can back it up. I can show you things you can do in GA4 that are impossible in universal analytics. But that is not a sentence AI could write. It can't write that. Try to get it to write that. You'll have to write some weird convoluted prompt to try to elicit it. It's easier to just simply make a statement. Transcribe your next 5 conversations with your friends and go analyze those sentences. AI couldn't say any of them. It can't make that video. I made this comparison where it's got like this little metaphor. GA4 is like Home Depot. You can build anything. It's got all the tools. Universal Analytics was always kind of like training wheels. It's like shopping at IKEA. You get what it gives you. And then I reach out to my friends who all disagree with me, by the way. Who cares? I'm not trying to be correct. I'm trying to start a conversation. What did I do? I sort of moved the conversations from the comments into the article. That's what contributor quotes are all about. It's making your article look more like a social stream. So yeah, none of these people agree with me, but AI can't do that either, right? Take a stand. AI has no opinions. Collaborate. AI has no friends. Record a video. AI has no face. Okay, Natalie, I'm getting worked up here. I should probably move on, but you get the idea. Very, very
And
useful.
somebody did ask a very quick question. So how can you create like different personas, or how does one create different personas? Let's say someone asking here, like one for social media content, one for website, blog posts, articles, or internal employee communications. How
Sure.
would you go about that?
Well, a persona, here's a definition I got from Ardith Albee. A persona is a format that makes your audience intelligence actionable. So the audience in your blog and in your social media streams probably shouldn't be different. That would normally be one persona. It's a buyer. It's your buyer persona. Within your buying, there may be more than one buyer. So if there are different personas, it's the different people who are on the buying committee. In B2B, you might have 4 decision makers, right? The executive, the salesperson, IT, whatever. You could make different personas for these, and some companies do. I know a company that has 12. Seems like a lot to me.
Wow.
Internal audience is, of course, another persona. Now, if you have all of your personas, and I meet people who have them like in a PowerPoint. In my experience, if you just give AI all of them at once, it's fine. It will still produce content that is more targeted and relevant. If you make each one separate and give them one at a time, because you're creating content just for the IT buyer or just for the sales buyer, whatever the roles are, it might be more relevant. But in my experience, I think it's even if you have 3 or 4, just try it. Load them all up together. Make one big PDF and upload that, and then start talking to it. It's probably sufficient to just use them. In my experience so far, I was kind of surprised, but the one big document that has as many as like 4 personas in it, still very useful. It's a fun question.
Yeah, thanks.
I want to talk about AI and SEO, and with just a few minutes here to kind of highlight what I think the future is for SEO. Uh, there's an AI overview now for many search results pages, and in it, Google is summarizing the search results and answering questions right there. And there's people who are triggered by that and think this is the end of search, or it's the end of traffic from search, or the end of SEO. Uh, my point of view, this has been a long-term trend. It's just the latest. Featured snippets reduced click-through rates. Knowledge panels on the side reduce click-through rates. Ads, of course, reduce click-through rates to organic. The map, the people also ask, the video carousel, the images, the discussions, all the SERP features on the internet have been reducing click-through rates for years. That's why traffic from search has been declining for years. This is historic data, so I used universal analytics, and my traffic peaked in like 2020. That's fine because, and I'm not worried because if you make it used to be called a segment, now it's called a comparison, showing people who start their visit on a blog post versus people who start their visit on a sales page, like a service page, it's really the blog content that's been badly impacted. Traffic for high consideration, high intent phrases, people who need help, people still visit websites. They still want to visit a website. So the question sort of becomes, which phrases have visit website intent? For years, we've taught just content marketing targets information intent key phrases. The sales pages on your site target commercial intent key phrases, right? That's like, rocket launch best practices versus satellite launch services, right? Top of funnel, bottom of funnel, content marketing, sales pages, information intent, commercial intent. But now what we have to consider is that we need to break that down, and you'll quickly realize some phrases have visit website intent and some don't. A detailed how-to article, that person still wants to click through and read the full, long, visual, collaborative process. But even best practices, simple answers, facts, those people have not been clicking through for a while. So that's my point of view on the future of search. No longer can we just think about information or commercial intent. Start thinking about, does that phrase really have visit website intent? Is that person in strong consideration mode? Are they comparing options? Are they doing deep investigation? If so, the click-through rates should be fine, right? That's not going to change. People will still go to websites. And by the way, AI will send you traffic. The end of search, even if search declines, and some people predict Google will decline, 25% of searches will just disappear because people will do them on apps, on AI apps. That's fine. It doesn't, it does, I mean, that's still content discovery. We always thought like content discovery and search were the same thing. Now we're moving into an era where content discovery, there's two types, AI apps and information retrieval, aka Google. So you can already start to see this in your analytics if you go make an exploration. This is not really possible in the old analytics, but in GA4 you can make an exploration that will show traffic from AI models to which pages. This is showing traffic to my website from AI. These people did not use a search engine, but they're reading all the same articles that visitors from search engines read. I've got a slide in here that shows the how to make that. There's a segment you make with a regular expression that looks like a bunch of code, but it's basically, I don't know. Find me on LinkedIn. Oh, there it is. I put it at the bottom. That down there is the regex to create a GA4 segment inside an exploration that will show you which pages on your site are getting traffic directly from AI. No Google in the middle. Okay, but I do want to show how to rank higher in search. It's a great method, actually, and I highly recommend it. This is using AI to recommend edits to a web page. Now, a search optimized web page, I've been an SEO for 24 years. A search optimized web page has a target key phrase, where title, header, body, meta description. We all sort of know that. Everyone should know that. But less obvious, search optimized pages are detailed. They do use the target key phrase, but they also target the broader topic. The best SEOs don't just target the key phrase, they target the broader topic. They spread out their meaning. They incorporate those related phrases, the semantically related phrases. They answer the related questions. They touch on the related subtopics. See all these? If I'm writing an article about website navigation, I better mention menu, descriptive label, main navigation, drop-down menus, all these other related phrases. That's SEO, semantic SEO. Okay, So let's say you've got a page. This page targets GA4 for SEO, article that I wrote, I don't know, a few months ago. Here's the prompt. You're a semantic SEO expert. You're skilled at selecting key phrases that are semantically related to a primary phrase. Suggest 10 phrases that are adjacent to this one, GA4 for SEO. That's the prompt, right? I'm having AI do some semantic SEO research for me. It does it beautifully. It's actually a great way to do this because it's a language model. It's a predictive matrix of the next word, right? So it's perfect for this. These are all semantically related phrases. A little bit narrow, let's loosen it up. Expand the list, go deeper by adding phrases with a bit more semantic distance between them, right? I want to open it up. This was your question. I can't be too specific. These are much better. These are definitely clearly semantically related to my phrase. Now, I might know that page and its performance, and I can look it up and see these are phrases that it almost ranks for. I rank 19 for GA4 organic search. I rank 49 for SEO reporting. I'm going to grab some of those and give those to the AI. Add these phrases. So I copy and paste those phrases in. Show the full list. Okay, we're ready to do SEO. AI has a long list of semantically related phrases to my topic. Here's the prompt. Search optimized pages are focused on a specific topic and key phrase, but they also incorporate the closely related phrases, subtopics, and semantically, grammatical forms, things like that. You're an expert SEO copywriter. You are skilled at making copy edits that improve the search rankings of a web page by incorporating key phrases and indicating relevance. Here's a link to an article. Suggest 10 copy edits to 10 sentences that would make this page, that would incorporate phrases from this list. Make suggestions that would improve the flow. We're down here. Make suggestions that would improve the flow and clarity for the persona. I'm not a keyword stuffer. I care about my reader. It's not really about just rankings. I'm trying to become memorable and persuasive to a member of my target audience. Then you can just give it the link if you have or copy and paste in the text and highlight the phrases. This is what it suggested. I wrote this sentence. Ranking isn't just about, SEO isn't about just rankings. It's about traffic. Here's its suggestion. Ranking isn't the ultimate goal. Tracking organic traffic in GA4 helps us focus on driving quality visitors. You see what it did? It rewrote a sentence based on incorporating some of the key phrases that it generated. Here's another. We need to go deeper and check traffic, search traffic changes per URL. What it suggested is, for detailed insights, analyze SEO metrics in GA4 by checking organic search traffic at the page level. I think these are pretty good. These aren't bad. So in this way, AI becomes sort of a skills leveler. There's research about this. You don't have to have 24 years of experience in SEO and have done thousands of hours of keyword research and written 600 search optimized articles. I've been doing this a long time. Now with that prompt, it can turn a more junior SEO copywriter into a more senior person. These prompts are it's like a spell book. My kids are reading Harry Potter. Anybody can take them and apply them. You have them now. You're getting them in this deck. Natalie, I'm going to do one last thing and then we'll break for questions. AI can make images. This is a fun little palette cleanser at the end. AI can make images. It's DALL-E. There's other ones, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, what's Bing Create, whichever one that, I forgot the name of the tool behind it. That's DALL-E. Anyway, there's different models for this. Runway.ml or RunwayML makes video. But I'm just going to use this to create social assets. Here's my prompt. I want to see the faces of a small, diverse group of satellite operators in a control room during launch. Vivid, right? It's beautiful. So here they are. These are commercial satellite operators. That'd be a good asset for social media. But let's pump up the energy. Now they're excited that it was a successful launch. Look how happy they are. You can imagine. It feels like a long shot prompt, right? I can't really control it too much. It's really just giving it these kind of general instructions. Could we do more? They're thrilled that the rocket launch was so successful. Look at her eyes. So engaging, right? Like you can just imagine. These were generated in seconds. It's crazy to me. They're celebrating the most successful rocket launch of all time. Opening the champagne. There's confetti in the control room. The rocket launch seems to be launching from indoors behind us. Uh, I'm going to keep going. The happiest rocket launch party ever, filled with ecstatic satellite operators. That rocket launch was totally awesome. I mean, like, super rad. Boom. This is, I don't know, somehow we lost our diversity, but you can see the rocket, the Heavy Falcon rocket is launching from the background in the room, unfortunately, right? We got some safety problems back there. Make it more diverse. I guess diverse means just more party, like vaguely ethnic party hats. Okay, we'll go with it. So that is, and this rocket's about to smash through the ceiling. These people are way too close to getting knocked back by the blast. It looks like a big problem. Um, anyway, we've got 10 minutes. We could stop for questions. I also have one final method which we could use, but let me pause for a second. We've already done a lot. Natalie, how are we doing?
I am just totally cracking up at that whole segment right
Fascinating.
now.
I must say,
I
I'm
know.
fascinated.
So someone was just asking, like, are there any copyright issues with using the AI generated content on social media, websites, etc.?
Text
There are
and image.
huge, yeah, there are huge copyright issues for the platforms because they're sort of extorting money from each other right now. There are deals being made where OpenAI is getting the rights to use Reddit. Reddit's making them pay how much money? Like $60 million from this publisher and $80 million from that publisher. So that's basically the battle between massive companies deciding, who gets to be in the training data and settling lawsuits. Uh, of course, OpenAI crawled everybody's everything before we even knew what was happening. So this goes back years. For the creator, or rather the prompter, uh, it varies by country. Currently in the US, the law says that you cannot copyright something unless it has substantial human involvement. So like any of those pictures that I was showing a second ago, let's go back, one that I sort of loved, that is not copyrightable. There was no substantial human involvement. So anybody can use it. You could use it. It cannot be owned because it was made by a machine. These laws will change, but the same is true for text. So there's yet another reason why there's some risk if you think that oh, I'm just gonna have AI write all my stuff for me. Yeah, it's not really copyrightable. You have no claim if someone else were to use it. Nor should you really even expect to have a claim because you made something that was strictly totally undifferentiated anyway. Um, but no, that's I'm not a legal expert, but my understanding is that substantial human involvement is the legal threshold for copyrightability.
And this sort of relates to a point that you made earlier, which is that AI is average information. So in terms
Mhm.
of um, written content specifically for us for SEO, let's say where Google does watch duplicated content and you get penalized for that. So um, when you use AI for writing text, are you in danger of the AI suggesting similar blocks of text to multiple individuals or users
Um,
rather?
well, if my experience in search has always been that Google is just trying to give the visitor the best page on the internet for the topic. So whatever the thing is, satellite launch best practices, you're the thing that you make. If you expect to rank, set aside copyright and AI detectability and duplicate content, and seriously, just ask yourself, even if it's subjective, did I make the best page on the internet for satellite launch best practices? If not, you have no right to rank and you shouldn't expect much, right? The point of search is to exceed the quality expectations for the human and therefore meet the expectations for the algorithm. I mean, it is blood sport. It is so competitive that people talk about, oh, duplicate content and technical SEO and page speed and mobile friendliness. Work on your content a little more there, right? Because the thing you're trying to improve the performance of might be garbage. Why are you so worried about these, superstitions of like EAT and quality rater guidelines? Step one, make something amazing. And I mean very detailed. I have pages that rank number one and have ranked number one for 5 years for popular, valuable phrases. but they're 4,800 words. They have contributor quotes from 6 experts. They are primary sources for new information, their original research. They have 18 images on them. Read that and ask if you know that you're trying to make the best thing on the internet, I think, or you're not really doing SEO.
I think if I understand correctly, what he's saying is that AI is a tool for marketers, but it doesn't replace the marketer itself. And it's something that, even though we feel that it might replace us, it hasn't yet, for sure. And
Yeah.
we should be aware not to abuse it into a way that we think it will do the work for us.
There's a famous quote from Paul Reutzer. He says, AI will not replace marketers, but marketers who use AI will replace marketers who don't use AI.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, of course, it can't do what a human does. It couldn't make this. Look what we're doing. Try to get AI to do that. It's impossible, right?
And that's I think the hard part about AI, because you always feel it's so like realistic and like real. The things like is convincing you that the content it generates is very well written and highlight, and you need to,
Yeah.
when you read between the lines, you're like, hey, is it actually, it's like there's no opinion, there's no, it's very shallow. All
Yeah. I mean,
this
if you
understanding
can train it, well enough,
like every tool.
it can make stuff that will be. It's good for research. It's good for editing. I could pick any of these. Here's an example. This is me teaching you how to use AI to combine Google Analytics with AI. Can you answer these questions? What day of week? What time of day? How long does it take to get leads? The video, it can't do that. It can't write this. This insight that you can export from GA4, a report that shows the day and hour of your leads, and then clean up the file, give it to AI, and AI will tell you the time of day and day of week when you get the most leads. Tell me what AI could do here. Like, how can it help me write any of this? I don't think it can really help me at all. It doesn't know AJ, right? It can't find this it can't create the idea. It can't, I mean, of course it created that report. This is when people subscribe to your newsletter. This is when people view your videos. You know, this is how long it takes after the first visit for a visitor to become a lead. Yeah, so I reached out to Ashley and she said, the reason that's true, that people become a lead on their first visit, is because you've been nurturing them for weeks. They know about your brand for years. And Joe Chernoff says, yeah, if you've got runaway demand gen costs, you have limited brand awareness. That's a strong statement. This started a big conversation. I'm calling these people and talking to them. And this article became a conversation about brand and lag time analysis for lead gen. Tell me, if the day AI can write this, I'm happy to hand over my blog, but I just can't even picture it. What can it do for me? It can't do, I don't know. I think that the best content is still highly differentiated, and I'm not at all concerned about an AI threat for content creators who know their audience and who are already doing kind of that 10x effort.
May I ask you,
Agreed.
how much time do you invest in learning, like how to master this tool, these skills, like a week? Like, and where do you get your knowledge from?
I probably spent maybe 200 or 300 hours over the last year experimenting with AI. A lot of time. I had budget time for it. Where I got most of my expertise, my best ideas were when I knew that other people were doing it. I set up short calls to say, can we trade notes? I'll show you what I'm doing. Can you show me what you're doing? And I got much better, much faster talking to the pros and watching how they did it. I just got back from Macon, the Marketing AI conference, where I saw some great presentations. Go to YouTube, watch to see what they're doing. But I'm also have a tough filter, right? Because I'm obsessed with quality and performance. I'm sort of dismissing a lot of these articles that are just like, here are 6 prompts. And I'm like, dude, that is kindergarten. I don't see how that's going to work in the long run. So,
Were there any tool that you experimented with or evaluated and like didn't go well? And like, was like say, okay, this is not the tool that
I used to use Midjourney, and it's inside Discord. It's too hard to get to. It's kind of weird. I learned a lot using it. I don't use it anymore. DALL-E's right there. I used to use a transcription tool that I stopped using because Descript is better for that. it's interesting. It's like the early days of social media. People tried to build social media networks for all different groups. And then they all sort of realized, well, Facebook is the Facebook for that group. So we may end up in a world like that where there's basically 4 or 5 models and the variations of these are pretty narrow. Like you kind of just use the main models. AI tools launch at a rate of like 3 per day. People launching AI startups like every few hours. It's crazy. But they're mostly thin layers on top of a open AI. But no, I think information sharing, mastermind groups, one-on-one calls, trading notes, that was the fastest way for me to learn.
That was amazing, I must say. I really enjoyed. But we're out of time. Do we have any more questions? One more question together, or I think
Do we want to cover the last section? How much do you have time for that, Andy? I know that we've already grabbed so much time from your schedule.
Nope. My next call is an internal one, so let's just do it quick. I'll show that last one, which I think is, and we'll end strong. I'm going to share my screen again.
We'll make Mary happy.
Share. Okay. Actually, I'm glad we're doing this, and this is, I think, one of the more powerful things you can do because I'm not content marketing. I'm farther down the funnel, and I'm going to improve a page that's designed to sell. People that land on pages designed to sell are 10 times more likely to become a lead. This is GA4, 2 comparisons. Landing page is the blog, landing page is not the blog. These people are starting their experience on a money page, a service page, a product page. So can AI help us improve these service pages? Because all the traffic in the world doesn't help us if we don't convert visitors. I'm doing conversion rate optimization at the bottom of the funnel for lead generation. Let's improve a landing page. Here's that company, Space Launch Services. It's a bad page. We all know it's a bad page. 250 words. The headers are vague. It's got a video with no reason to watch it. You can't even tell what it's about. It just looks like a weird logo. No supportive evidence that I see. It doesn't rank. So I'm going to give this to AI. There's a lot of ways to give AI a web page. You saw me do it a minute ago where I could give it a link or copy and paste the text. Here I'm going to use the full page screenshot because I'm doing conversion optimization, and I want it to use vision to look at the page to see if there's logos or awards. So I upload the image of the screenshot of the image. It's right up there. And here's my prompt. You're a conversion optimization expert. You're skilled in evaluating pages for their ability to both inform and persuade. The most compelling pages share some common traits. They indicate the topic of the page. No vague headers. They answer visitors' questions. That's why you have a visitor. The order of the blocks and the messages aligns with their prioritized information needs, right? Another way to say this, the best sales pages emulate a sales call with your top sales rep, right? It flows through on the likely importance to the visitor. It's not what I want to say, it's what they need to hear. It uses supportive evidence and avoids making unsupported marketing claims. Okay, it comes back and starts making recommendations. Oh, you didn't talk about reliability or launch schedules or post-launch support. Oops. Every unanswered question will hurt my conversion rate. Go look at your browsing history. That's why you didn't become a lead on those websites, right? Look at this. Oh, you didn't prioritize it based on their needs, like cost effectiveness or technology capabilities. Oops. That will also hurt my conversion rate. You didn't include any testimonials or partner logos or case studies. You don't look like a credible space launch company. You gave us no supportive evidence. 100% of your claims were unsupported. And your headers were vague. You said our technology. Anybody could say that. WiseStamp could say that. Instead, it suggested saying, proven launch technology backed by decades of success. Way better. Way, way better. So in other words, what did I do? I used AI for gap analysis. And in the end, I am not using AI to find deficiencies. I'm using AI to find deficiencies. I can go improve that page, make it a better page forever after. Every visitor to that page forever after will be more likely to convert into a lead. That's how demand is generated. Yes, do content marketing, but everyone should prioritize the bottom of the funnel at first. Fix your contact page. Once that's working, fix your calls to action. Once those are working, fix your sales pages, ability to answer questions and address objections. If you've got a page with lots of unsupported marketing claims, do that before you go write another blog post. I love that last one. I'm glad you guys give me the chance. I've been part of the planning process for 1,000 websites. We do websites all day, every day. Orbit Media is a B2B lead generation website developer. And so I'm glad that we got to that one last point.
That is incredible. And for sure, everyone, please do reach out and follow Andy Crestodina on all the socials. You're very active on LinkedIn, so you guys can definitely follow him there, as well as Orbit Media Studios. And we've got Chrome wants to relaunch, not right now. Okay. So quite the timing. And please, everyone, follow WiseStamp's LinkedIn page as well to stay updated on future WiseTalk episodes. We're going to be sitting down with the head of SEO over at Wix in November on the 18th at 9 a.m. Eastern. So please keep tabs for when that registration link becomes available. And
we're going to talk with him about the connection between SEO and branding.
Yes.
Which is another very interesting topic.
Yeah, more of a niched angle on that like intersection there. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We will be sending you guys the recording in the next few days. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much, Andy.